Hello, welcome to Chatterboxing. My name's Sean. This is actually the first video I've ever made. So if you are watching this, you're either the only person watching it or you're one of a handful of people watching it. So thank you if you are. I'm going to talk today about the Frampton Leo Santa Cruz fight in New York tonight. Very good fight, I think. I think it's got all the ingredients to be an absolute classic. In fact, you've got two unbeaten fighters. You've got Frampton traveling to America from Ireland, which is obviously a disadvantage. He's got to travel there. He's not on home turf, but he's going to bring a lot of people over there with him. Definitely he'll bring loads of Irish fans over there. I've already seen at the weigh-in, quite a few of them are over there making themselves known, making their presence known, sorry. They're always noisy, they're always going to create a good atmosphere, get behind him. And yeah, you could tell that at the weigh-in at least, that there were definitely, well, not at least, but a lot more vocal fans for him than there were for Santa Cruz. Plus, you've also got a lot of Irish people in New York, either Irish people or descendants of Irish immigrants from, however many generations ago they were. But you have, in New York, quite a big tradition of Irish immigration. So I imagine quite a lot of people are going to get behind him. He's going to have quite a lot of support from New Yorkers as well. In terms of Santa Cruz, okay, he lives in America, but he lives on the other side of America. I think he lives in California. So I don't know exactly how long it takes to get there, but it's quite a trip. It's a different time zone, different climate, not familiar surroundings. I mean, more so than Frampton, but at the same time, it's not like he's really at home either. And he's probably not going to have the same kind of support that he would have had. Well, almost certainly he won't have. I'm not sure what kind of support he will have there. I'm sure some people will travel over there. Plus, I'm sure there are people. I don't know how many Mexicans live in New York, but I'm sure there'd be quite a few people in New York as well who would be getting behind him. I imagine that the Frampton crowd will be a lot noisier, but that remains to be seen. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't think I will be, but you never know. Okay, the actual fight itself, both unbeaten, both entertaining to watch. It's No one's going to want to lose. You've got like one Mexican, one Irishman. You're going to have a great atmosphere. You're going to have a big event. You've got a fight that's been brewing for a while. I think that Frampton was the mandatory challenger for Santa Cruz when he was the super bantamweight. I think it was WBC. But it was some super bantamweight title he had, and that never came to fruition because Santa Cruz moved up. But now here comes Frampton, hot on his heels again. I'm not saying that Frampton went up. I mean, I'm not saying that Santa Cruz went up to avoid him or anything like that. I'm just saying it didn't happen then. So it's kind of been in the in the works for a while. The advantages that they both have. Well, first of all, Santa Cruz is significantly bigger. He's like a lot taller. He's got much longer arms. He's got a reach advantage, which obviously is an advantage. I mean, one thing I would say about that is that Frampton is very much accustomed to fighting people who are taller than him, longer arms than him. He's a very short bloke, Frampton. And he's never been able to rely on having like a long reach or anything like that. He's always relied on either like upper body movement, well, mainly in terms of like the range, like feet. He's got very quick feet and very good movement, subtle movement. So he kind of changes the range ever so slightly, so the opponent doesn't really know where he is, and then he can come in like moving his head, come in at ducking under, and he's very good at like. For example, the last fight he's there against Alejandro Gonzalez, not the last fight, but 2 fights ago, which was in New York as well. I think, no, not New York, who was it? Texas. He's in America. So he's been over to America before. And okay, Gonzalez isn't on the same level as Santa Cruz, but still it's an example of how the taller man with like much longer arms, he managed to out jab him, and he's doing that strictly through timing. Um, and he's very sort of clever with it. He's not just sort of just throwing it out there like, erratically. He's mixing it up. He's like, up top, bringing it to the body, moving, like changing the angle slightly, coming in. It's very difficult to really use your reach advantage against him. I can't really remember off the top of my head him fighting anyone who's as small as him. I'm sure he has, but pretty much always people are taller than him, and he's used to that, and he manages to even like out jab them. Santa Cruz, as we know, is very relentless. He's got an amazing engine on him, and he can do it 12 rounds just all out, just throwing like punches after punches. And he has quite good accuracy as well. He's not just like kind of coming in flailing, and he comes in, he's got quite good punch variety. So it's going to be difficult for Frampton to keep him off him. It's definitely going to be difficult for him to keep up with the pace and the intensity. If he can't put him off, if he can't deter him, then he's not going to win. As much as anything else, it's kind of in America. He's obviously a bigger name, like Santa Cruz, obviously a bigger name in America. He's probably more important to Al Heyman. So you'd think he's going to get the nod if it's a close fight, and it's a kind of sort of split decision style. You'd think that Leo Santa Cruz would have the edge, particularly as he's probably going to be more active and like he's very aggressive. He can fight on the back foot. He can see it against Abner Mares a little bit. He can, he's not one-dimensional, but his real strength and the thing that makes him a very difficult opponent for anyone is that he just keeps coming forward, throwing punches, mixing them up, hooks, straight punches. He fights at quite a difficult range as well, because he kind of changes it up as well, and he can do it like from long, kind of mid range as well. But with his I don't know, it's difficult to describe. But he's quite an unorthodox fighter. He reminds me a bit of like Margarito. I'm sure loads of people have said this. Mexican pressure fighter. He's kind of that sort of style in the sense that no one that fights him is going to have an easy night's work with him. Like there were people like Mosley, like sort of knocked him out. Pacquiao, like gave him a bit of a beating, but he's just hard work. Like anyone who fights Margarito is in for a hard night. The same with like Santa Cruz. His opponents haven't been great. Let's be honest. I've seen him fight like Abner Mares, which was obviously a good win. Best opponent he's had. Kiko Martinez is good, but Kiko Martinez had already lost loads of times before then. He definitely his best days were behind him. He'd just been knocked out by Scott Quigg in a fight before that. So yeah, he had to travel to America to do it. It was only going to go one way, that fight. So Leo Santa Cruz, we've seen him relentless and going forward and throwing all these punches. I haven't really seen him do that against someone like Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton is very tricky. He's very awkward. As I say, he changes the distance very subtly. He's just got very good movement. Although he's got very good head movement, he's got good like upper body movement. He's got very good. He's very fluid, and he just kind of moves from one place to another, like with his head, his shoulder. He just he really does impress me with his movement. And I don't think it's going to be that easy for Santa Cruz to just hit him lots of times. He's going to miss quite a lot, and that's obviously going to affect him if he's missing and also getting hit hard with like well placed counters, and not just kind of like leads as well. I think like Frampton, I think that he can put him off. He's not going to put him off completely. I mean, Santa Cruz isn't just going to sort of go into his shell. He's certainly not going to do what Scott Quigg did in the first half of that fight. I think Scott Quigg was probably a bit intimidated by the atmosphere. The occasion probably got to him a little bit. really did fuck all really, like in the first 4 rounds, or maybe more. I don't remember, but Santa Cruz definitely isn't going to do that. He's going to come to fight, but he's going to put himself in. Scott Quigg got his jaw broken in like the third round, the fourth round, um, and you know, to his credit, he kind of fought on through it. Santa Cruz, I think he's going to have to be hit hard, and he's going to have to be shown early on that if you want to just keep steaming in, like throwing like hundreds of punches, then you're going to get hit hard and regularly. And if he can do that, I think he can sort of slow him down slightly, to kind of keep up with the pace. Because if he can't do that, and Santa Cruz just doesn't respect him, he does nothing to keep him off him, then I think Frampton will either lose on points or potentially even get stopped late, just because really from kind of exhaustion, if nothing else, just having to keep defending himself against someone just constantly on him, like throwing like loads and loads of punches. That's one thing I could see happening. But also, I think that Frampton has quite a good chance of, I mean, I don't go so far as outclassing him, but I think this is a real step up for Santa Cruz in terms of skill. Abnemar is a good fighter, but he's different. He's not like Frampton's a real thinking fighter. He chooses his punches very well, and I think he can really make Santa Cruz think twice about what he's doing, and I think he can frustrate him as well and hurt him. And if you put those three together, then I think that he can do it. So my prediction, when this first was made, I thought that Santa Cruz would win. I thought he'd just be too much for him. I think his size advantage, his work rate, his relentlessness, I thought would be too much for Frampton. But recently I've seen a few of their last fights, both of them, and I kind of forgot really, like to be honest with you, the fight against Gonzalez. Everybody thinks that that's a really bad performance. Personally, I don't. I think it started off a bit shaky. Obviously, he came out, fighting in like Texas, which is obviously like a different climate, quite a long way away, a new experience. He was on American TV, like terrestrial TV, so like a big audience. He really was kind of eager to impress, and he came out basically fighting a bit, well, I wouldn't say stupidly, but a bit overzealous, a bit like a bit too keen. Underestimated his opponent, who was, quite a bit bigger than him, and hit him with a couple of good punches. One of them he caught him square foot, like off balance, and the next one I can't really remember, but he kind of hit him. It was a decent punch, knocked him down, but it sort of right on, because he was like over him and like kind of like knocked him down rather than over, if you know what I mean. So he kind of went down, but at no point was he hurt in that, and he got up, and he kept his composure, and even within that round, he was like sort of coming to give it, but then the bell went quite quickly, and then just dominated the fight against someone who's taller than him, longer arms, out jabbing him, which I've seen him do a few times, because this is obviously a thing that Leo Santa Cruz has. He's much taller, longer arms, but Frampton is used to that, and he's used to kind of out jabbing people and beating people to the punch who are taller with longer reach than him. So he did that. He showed very good movement. He said that the ring was very soft as well, which was something that he had to adapt to. Just the adapt, the how he could adapt during the fight impressed me. Even though a lot of people say it was a poor performance, I personally don't think it was. I thought it wasn't amazing, but there were certain things I saw in that fight which impressed me. So yeah, I'm going for Frampton to win. I mean, it's difficult to say he's going to win because Santa Cruz obviously never been knocked out before. I think probably decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if he beats him, like if he stops him in the later rounds, possibly round 11. Because I think Santa Cruz, one thing, if he is losing, and they know he's losing. I don't think he's just going to accept that and just think, oh well, he's going to go for it. He's going to take chances and possibly leave himself, like walk onto something big. So I think Frampton's going to be winning, and he's either going to win on points, or Santa Cruz is going to realise that he needs to close the gap. He's going to get a bit carried away, walk onto something, and possibly get stopped. So yeah, I know most people disagree with me. Pretty much everyone I've seen has been, or has predicted that Santa Cruz is going to win. Wouldn't be surprised if he does. It's I can certainly see why a lot of people think that, but I'm going with Frampton. Okay, well, thanks for watching.